Hello and thanks for joining me today. Nikki here, and today I'm going to be making a fast and easy card for you featuring the Hollow Weird stamp set from the Hedgehog Hollow October subscription box. The technique I'm going to be using today is called, it's a type of shadow stamping. You do it with Versamark ink and white ink, and it tends to create a sort of faux embossed look. So I'm going to be using this ghost here. It's already on my block. And before we get to making the card, I just want to show you how it works because I'm only going to be stamping this one time on my card. So let me just get my MISTI here. I've already got him in there. And this is how this works. So basically, I have this little mark here because you need to shift your paper just a little tiny bit to get the effect you're looking for. So I'm just going to move it over a little tiny bit. Just a little smidge because I want it about the same width as the lines on the stamp set. So the first thing you do is you stamp your image with Versamark ink. Make sure you got it good and inked up there. And you just stamp. Now I know that's probably hard to see because it's Watermark ink, but it takes a second. It'll get a little bit darker. But while I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to shift it right back over so it's good and flush against the side of the MISTI. Then I'm going to use white dye ink from Hero Arts. Now I like the dye ink because it has more of a chalky look than the pigment. So it works really well for this technique. So I'm going to ink this up, make sure it's good and even. And then now that I have that moved over, I'm going to stamp it again. It should be just offset of where the Watermark ink is. Yep, there we go. So what that does, it gives you kind of a faux embossed look where the Versamark ink did a kind of shadow right behind the white. So, and you can do this the opposite way for a different effect as well. You can do the white down first and then do Versamark over it. But I wanted to look like the ghost was just sitting right on my paper. So I'll move this up so you can take a closer look. See how it looks kind of 3D? And that's what we're going to be doing on the card front. Okay, so I've got most of my papers already set up for this. These are the papers I'm going to be using. Not this one. And I'm going to stack it very similar to this, and I'm going to be doing my stamping on this particular panel. Now this is an A2 card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to lay that just to the side here because we're not going to use that right away. These three pieces, this black one is 3 5/8 by 4 3/4. This orange one is actually a negative from a card that I made a couple of weeks ago, actually with the same stamp set. So I didn't want to waste this, so I kept it, and I'm going to use it on today's card. Now this is about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, give or take an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch. So I trimmed this one down to about 3 by 4, and that fit just nice right in the middle. And for these three pieces, I'm going to adhere all three of these together flat and then attach them to the card with foam squares. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on the stamping here. I made sure the ghost was in just the right place so I could stamp it right on my panel here. I did do the pencil marks like I did when I was showing you earlier. So I'm just going to move it over just a little smidge like that. I'm going to magnet it down, and I still have some white ink on there, so I'm just going to clean it really fast. Microfiber cloths work wonders. So Versamark first. And this time I'm going to double stamp the Versamark because I just want to make sure it gets nice and dark. There we go. Okay, next up, we scoot our paper over just a little bit. Didn't have much of a scoot there, so I'm going to move it over. Actually, I didn't get much of a scoot there at all, so I'm going to move it to the opposite side because I have more movement. There we go. Now I'm going to stamp with the dye ink. And I think this will only need one stamp for it to come out just right. Perfect. So I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to put any more white on there because that is exactly what I wanted, and that will look lovely once it's dry. So you can see how I've got like a 3D effect going on. So, and now we're going to stamp the sentiment. Now the sentiment I'm going to use today is, I think I'm going to use the Creep It Real, because that'll fit just nice on that rectangle. So let me just center that. When I'm centering, I use the, if I'm lucky, there's some ease in the sentiment. Those are really good for lining up your stamps. So that looks good. There we go. Now I'm going to use the dye ink again for this, and I'm going to stamp it twice because I would like this to show up a little bit more, and I'm not going to be heat embossing it today because I still want that chalky look. I love how crisp that stamps. There we go. Okay, because it's a dye ink, that won't take very long to dry. So to put this together, I am going to adhere my black panel here onto my orange. There we go, nice and straight. And then onto this black panel. There we go. I'm avoiding the ink there because I still don't trust it. All right, and get my A2 card base. And I decided this needs a little bit something else, like ribbon. So I've got some ribbon from the October box as well. It's this lovely gingham ribbon. And I'm going to use that, but I want to tie it just around right here, not around the white. So I'm just going to get a paintbrush. And this is a quick way to do a tie. If you're in a hurry and you don't want to try to tie it around your card, you just tie it like that. You slip it off. Take your scissors. Make sure you're about in the right in the center, and you trim. There we go. Just tighten it up a little bit, and you got a nice little tie. And I want that to go right there. So I'm going to flip this over. Just put a little bit there and there to hold the ribbon on. we go. Now we have a ghost that looks pretty ghosty. And I'm going to adhere that with some foam squares. Got some black ones here. I do have larger ones as well. I'm just not sure where they are right now. So we will use these small ones. I won't use too many. Just make sure you have a couple in the center there so you don't have your card panel caving in the middle. Remove the release paper. Oops. And possibly a square. There we go. And center it on your card. There we go. If this thing keeps moving around on you, a micro glue dot will hold it still. You just put it right in behind the knot. But I think this will be fine for today. And that's it. That is the card for today. All the materials that I used to make this card today are in the comments below. Please like and subscribe for more crafty goodness. And thanks for watching.